If you struggle to stay consistent, this will save your whole semester. I'm a 4th year nursing student and I'm a final year nursing student. And in this video, I will show you how I stay consistent in nursing university even when I'm tired. The first point that I really want to talk about is momentum over motivation. Now this is quite interesting because I would say the most important thing in nursing university is momentum. You want to have a good upward spiral, a good momentum that just keeps going. Maybe some days you're unmotivated, maybe you've got a lot of things. Take it from me. My mother died about 4 months ago and I'm a final year. And it was one of the hardest exams a week later after my mother's death. I know how that goes. But momentum will help you almost become bulletproof. Let me explain. Now, one of the easiest way to have the momentum is to do the easy small tasks. As an example, how I personally like to do it, in lectures, I always sit in the front row. Now, a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe they'll feel more comfortable sitting in the back row with their friends, maybe some other places, maybe in the middle. But I would say it's one of the easiest way to build momentum because one, it gives signals to your brain that you're a quite good straight A student. Two, you really don't have a lot of pressure because teachers and professors usually look at the back of the class. Three, you have the best hearing in the class, so it's really easy to understand the entire lecture. Four, teachers and professors always remember your name. If there is any special treatment, spoiler alert, there is special treatment every single time. If you don't know or you don't think so, you're just not in the circle. If there is any special treatment, you make sure that you are one of the people that gets it. And that's how I actually always have that special treatment from professors, is that I get in the front row and I just stay there basically. A lot of the times, professor actually ask quite easy questions and it's quite easy to pop up, especially if you're the only person, as an example, who knows the answer. You happen to know that. If you're in the back, there's a lot of resistance. You have to scream for the professor to hear you. You have to, if it's wrong, you are in the back and you shouted and you are wrong, everybody will laugh at you. But if you are in the front row, you just say it. And really nothing happens because you can even say it with a normal voice and the professor will hear you. Now, this is how I create momentum personally. I sit in the front row every day. So when it comes to the exams period, as an example, all what I said is, look, other people are trying or starting to prepare now, maybe like few days ago. But for me, I started preparing at the beginning of the semester. Every time I was sitting in the front row, talking to the professor. One of the other ways I also do momentum is I always do and asked for projects. Now you're gonna say this is the most nerdiest thing. It's not. If you have any other skill than nursing, as an example, I know how to work on computers. You should too, right? Let's say some simple word skills, Microsoft Word or Excel, whatever it is, or even PowerPoint. You really want to do one of those days, preferably at the end or at the beginning of the semester or the subjects. What you want to do, work on some topic that you think that the teacher will be interested in. You just know it because there is certain topics or certain areas the professor, when he explains, he just gets to and gets enthusiastic about it. That's what you want to choose. That is the right calling. So when I choose that specific topic, go do a whole research. You don't even have to do it yourself. You can just ask ChatGPT, just do whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as you do it. Now, the presentation, you want it to be presented in a good way. A good plastic wrap, whatever. Maybe you spend like $1. But trust me, one, the reciprocity effect that it gives, as the teacher or the professor will feel, oh, this guy just gives me something, I have to give him something back. What the professor can give you, grades, good, privileged, let's say, treatment, whatever, right? And that is a great way on how to build momentum. Now, the second point that I really want to talk about is set daily tiny targets. Now, this is extremely important for 2 periods. Now, the casual periods, when you are going through nursing university, You have internship, you have lectures, you have studying. On the other side is the exams. Obviously, you've got exams, you've got preparation, a lot of studying. It depends on what university you're in. I'm studying university in east of Morocco. University. There is a public university. It's a governmental university actually, and that's the university I go to. So, well, it's not public, but it's governmental, right? It's the university. It's the nursing university in East Morocco, but really, that university, we have 1 week prior to exams that they give us to prepare. Now, it depends on where you're at in the world. Maybe you have more, maybe you have less. Maybe you have 3 days or 10 days or a week like me. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. It doesn't really matter. So in those days, also, it's important to have those tiny daily targets. I'm gonna give you an example. I have internship. I have internship daily now. Well, I have 1,200 internship through my information, the entire nursing career in nursing university in East Morocco. 1,200 hours of internship. You really want to have some tiny targets. Maybe sometimes it's just help. Sometimes at the beginning it's just ask. Sometimes just get to know the service. Sometimes maybe do a certain task. Maybe I want to do a certain specific task that we studied that I haven't practiced yet, or I haven't practiced enough, or I haven't mastered. So really want to get the grip of it. So that's my target. It really can get as simple as that, or maybe as big as understanding an entire topic or subject or talking with professors. The third point that I really think is quite important is habit stacking with your routine. Now, I wouldn't like to go deep into your routine and systems and habits, but it's quite important to understand at least the basics of habits. And I'm not a big fan of all the people who talk about habits, but I would say it's quite important to have the right habits, especially when it comes to stacking. And that's also related to the momentum, which is the first point, and that's why it's extremely important. So outside of nursing university, you have your own personal life. Maybe you have your dorm, you have to clean, you have to cook, prep for your food, prep for your internships. Maybe you have some other going to the gym, maybe some other tasks. It doesn't really matter, and it doesn't have to be a specific way. You only have to do certain things. You only have to have something else to do, basically. Now, that is quite important, because what you want to do is get those small wins. Get one small win after another, after another, after another, which will help you a lot, because it will give you a better motivation, even a better mental state. A lot of the times I get those small wins outside of nursing university. I get into the university or internship, my vibe is just way better. People like me more. People actually like me way more when I do that, which exactly why you want to do that as well. Now, the fourth point is remove friction. Remove friction maybe by prepping your desk, maybe something else. The way I move friction is, as an example, I sit in the front row, as I said. When I take notes, a lot of people say you need to use all of the colored notes, and you need to use highlighters. You need to use all of these special notebooks. Actually, what I do plain papers. It doesn't even have to be a notebook. As long as it's paper, it's empty preferably, and I have one pen. I never take anything else. So I remove friction from actually just writing the notes. Because I figured that a big part of me not writing the notes is just so big of just too much things. I have to think about the colors, the highlighters, the notebooks that I have to use. It's just a whole bunch of process that I really am not interested in to take it. Now, when you do my way, you only take simple papers, empty papers, and you have only one pen. It's just way easier for you to write the notes, stay in the front row, and just write. If anything, if you feel uncomfortable, which happens a lot when you are in the front row, what you do, you just write down. You act as if you're writing. Trust me, that I do a lot. The fourth point that I really want to add here, or maybe, hey, it's the fifth point actually. It's tracking wins to feel progress. It's all almost related. That's my business. No, that's not my business, but that's my genius of explaining. So momentum, stacking habits, and this now, which is tracking progress when it comes to wins. So let's say I get a good grade. I remember that. I track that. I track how many times, let's say I did a perfect task in internship. I got a perfect grade. I got, let's say, a perfect side, let's say like side homework, side projects, wins when it comes to exams, how many semesters I got perfect score, how many professors actually give me advices. All of these are wins. How I do it, I add always another layer to it. I add the wins from the gym, I add the wins from my house, cleaning the room, taking the design, taking care of myself, getting haircuts, having social life, having friends, having my own business, working on my own projects, reading books, right? So it doesn't really have to be the way I do it. You don't have to do exactly what I do. But as long as you have some wins, which should be easy to get, at least some of them, and you track them to feel progress. And that feeling personally, I don't like starting from the ground every time, but just the feeling or knowing that, well, I've got something to me, I already have done and have made progress. All what I really have to do is just continue on to finish what I'm doing. It actually just makes the things 10 times easier. Now let's do a quick recap for all the notes for the 5 points that I've talked about. 1, tiny daily targets. 2, habit stacking with your routine. 3, remove friction as much as possible. 4, momentum over motivation. And the last point is tracking wins to feel progress. Now, make sure to write down below the biggest problem that you have in nursing university, and I'm gonna make sure that I will make a video on how I fixed it for myself. Thank you.